It's really interesting, right? So when you combine things you're not supposed to combine,
Right.
people get interested. It's like Bruce Lee, right? Striking thoughts, philosophy plus martial arts. And I think it's because at some level, all humans are broad. We're all multivariate, but we get summarized in pithy ways in our lives. And at some deep level, we know that's not true, right? Every
Yeah.
human basically is capable of every experience and every thought. You're a UFC comedian, commentator, podcaster, but you're also more than that. You're also father, lover, thinker, etc. So I like the model of life that the ancients had, the Greeks, the Romans, right, where you would start out and when you're young, you're just like going to school, then you're going to war, then you're running a business, then you're supposed to serve in the Senate or the government, then you become a philosopher. There's sort of this arc to life where you try your hand at everything. And as one of my friends says, specialization is for insects. Right? So everyone should just be able to do everything. And so I don't believe in this model anymore of trying to focus your life down on one thing. You've got one life. Just do everything you're going to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that sometimes people find certain success in whatever the endeavor is, and then they think that that is their niche, and they stick with it, and they never change, and they almost out of fear.
Well, it's hard because there's the analogy around mountain climbing. Like if you find a mountain and you start climbing it and you spend your whole life climbing it and you get, say, 2/3 of the way, and then you see the peak is like way up there, but you're 2/3 of the way up. You're still really high up. But now to go the rest of the way, you're going to have to go back down to the bottom and look for another path. Nobody wants to do that. People don't want to start over.
Yeah.
And it's the nature of later in life that you just don't have the time. So it's very painful to go back down and look for a new path, but that may be the best thing to do. And that's why when you look at the greatest artists and creators, they have this ability to start over that nobody else does. Like Elon will, be called an idiot and start over doing something brand new that he supposedly is not qualified for. Or when Madonna or Paul Simon or U2 come out with a new album, their existing fans usually hate it because they've adopted a completely new style that they've learned somewhere else.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll just miss completely. So you have to be willing to be a fool and kind of have that beginner's mind and go back to the beginning to start over. And if you're not doing that, you're just getting older.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's willing to be a fool. It's just, to me, that the most exciting thing is to try to get better at something, to learn at things. I mean, it's really exciting when you just have incremental progress in something that you're completely new to.
Yeah, I live for the aha moment, that moment when you connect two things together that you hadn't connected together before, and it fits nicely and solidly, and it kind of helps form a steel framework of understanding in your mind that you can then hang other ideas off of. That's what I live for. It's that curiosity fulfilled. And it's what little children do too. My little son is always asking why. And I always try and answer him. And half the times I realize, actually, I don't really understand why. I just have a memorized answer for you, but that's not really understanding.
Yeah, those are weird conversations, right? When you're talking to your kids and you say, look, the reality is I don't know a lot of things.
Yeah, I've just memorized a lot of things. Yeah.
And there's certain things that you just can't know.
Yeah, you realize that you have answers for a few things that you've thought through. Then you sort of have cover-ups, like trapdoors, like don't go here. This is just a cover-up. I don't really know the answer to what the meaning of life is or how we got here.
Yes.
And then you've got a whole bunch of memorized stuff because a lot of intelligence these days is just the external brain pack of civilization. I know it's out there. I know the answers are out there. I know how to look them up, and I've memorized some of them. And I kind of understand how money works and the Federal Reserve prints it and what this government thing is, but not really.
Right.
So
not good enough to teach it in university.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think people do that with almost everything in life these days in terms of have a one page, a one sheet, like a brief summary of what the explanation for what this very complex subject might be.
TLDR, right? Don't give me the lecture, give me the book. Don't give me the book, give me the blog post. Don't give me the blog post, give me the tweet. Don't give me the tweet. I already know.
Yeah. I got really fascinated by the way you read because I thought there was something wrong with me by doing that. But you don't really just read a book to completion. You read and then you pick something else up and you just kind of go based on your whims, whatever you're interested in.
Well, I was raised by a single mom in New York, and she used the local library as a daycare center because it was a very tough neighborhood. And so she would basically say, when you get back from school, go straight to the library and don't come out until I pick you up late at night. So I used to basically live in the library, and I read everything. I read every magazine. I read every pictograph. I read every book. I read every map. I just ran out of stuff to read. I just read everything. So I got over this idea of that reading a large number of books or reading a book to completion as a vanity metric. Because really, when people are putting up photos on Twitter, Instagram of look at my pile of books that I'm reading, it's a show-off thing. It's a signaling thing.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And the reality is, I would rather read the best 100 books over and over again until I absorb them, rather than read all the books.
Right.
Yeah, because your brain has finite information, in finite space. You get enough advice, it all cancels to zero. There's a lot of nonsense in books out there too. So I don't read anymore to complete books. I read to satisfy my genuine intellectual curiosity. And it can be anything. It could be nonsense. It could be history. It could be fiction. It could be science. It could be sci-fi. These days it's mostly sci-fi, philosophy, science, because that's just what I'm interested in. But I will read for understanding. So a really good book, I will flip through. I won't actually read it consecutively in order, and I won't even necessarily even finish it. I'm looking for ideas, things that I don't understand. And when I find something really interesting, I'll reflect on it, I'll research it, and then when I'm bored of it, I'll drop it, or I'll flip to another book. Thanks to electronic books, I've got 50, 70 books open at any time in my Kindle or iBooks, and I'm just bouncing around between them.